Okay, we're back for Mother Wounds Part 6. And not gonna lie, I had to take notes. So so I can make sure that I move on to the next section of this appropriately. All right, so follow along with me. I'm gonna read my notes and fill in from there so that we can stay on topic. Last part 5, we started talking about pickmeshas and abuse recruiters and how that represents in a mother wound. This video, we're going to go a little bit deeper into understanding the pickmesha, okay? So, for those of you who are not aware, the pickmesha trope or construct that we now talk about online, Element Twins, Miss K. Shep brought up the concept of abuse recruiters and pickmesha. She's spoken about that a lot on her page. So the pickmesha is the woman who is still pandering to the patriarchy is kind of a way to look at it. Whether they are pandering to the patriarchy on purpose, by accident, by design, or by generational trauma is gonna vary from each pickmesha, okay? Also remember that the majority of people were raised by pickmeshas because of the way the patriarchy sets things up. Does that make sense? So the pickmesha trope is the my man, my man, my man. You know, everything about their life is about getting a man, keeping a man, following a man, chasing a man, doing things to get a man, right? And in the worst cases of this pickmesha behavior, women have actively unalived their children or even sold them into different sort of trafficking situations. They have blatantly disregarded when their partner was essaying their children, or if they knew something was wrong, they turned the other cheek, or they were inebriated too much to appropriately take care of their children because of needing to stay with the man. And there's also a version of this pickmesha where the mother is being physically and domestically abused. And that version of the pickmesha is really a painful version of it because everybody is being harmed in the process. And oftentimes they are not able to leave that relationship. They are not able to save their children. And sometimes they may not even know how to do so. A lot of times they may not know how to do so or even have the understanding that they should be doing so. Okay? And so, although we give it a lot of hate online, that online version of it is a very surface level part of why the pickmesha thinks the way that they do, feels the way that they do, and act the way that they do, okay? You will find pickmeshas more in heteronormative relationships than you will in LGBTQIA relationships, but, please realize that patriarchy can be internalized. So you can be enacting the patriarchy in an LGBTQIA relationship because if you have not unpacked your internalized patriarchy, you're just gonna be a stud bro who might as well be a passport bro. Okay? So that doesn't really help people. Pickmeshas, because of how they were raised and because of potentially the time that they were raised in, they don't have a voice, right? They don't have their own self-autonomy. They are doing things for the male gaze and to secure themselves in terms of the masculine. And many of y'all will not think that this is true, but Sprinkle Lady is technically a pickmesha. She's just teaching people how to pickmesha at a higher level with less harm to the woman, so that it's more of a transactional process where that woman thereby is better taken care of than when you pickmesha for love. Okay? And so that's a whole other discourse and whatever, right? We'll let sparkle, sparkle, sprinkle, sprinkle deal with that, okay? So just so you know, this is a bunch of different ways that you can pick Misha in this world. And why would people pick Misha? Because it's been thousands of years that we had to depend on these other peoples to do the thing, right? And so oftentimes it's easier. It's just easier to do that. Just the way that it's easier for men who like other men to get into relationships with women they don't like, because it's easier to do that and then do what you want to on the side, right? It's the same way that people are cheaters, and because it's easier to just cheat on someone than it is to break up a relationship, take accountability, and realize that that's not what you want for yourself, right? So on this conversation of pick Mishas, let me see what else I got on my notes. They don't recognize patterns until it's too late due to lack of exposure and grooming. And not everyone should have a child. Oh my gosh, this is the most important part. So part of the problem with being a pick Misha and part of the problem with the patriarchy is not everybody should have children. But when the patriarchy reduces you to a breeding machine, therefore your only value and worth is the children that you're bearing, then reproductive rights are stripped from people. And then people who should not have children, not only do they have children, they tend to have a lot of them, right? So then you, the child, are being raised in this toxic soup of a mother who never wanted to have you, but needed to do the thing to keep a man. Then the man does whatever the man is doing, whether he's a great man, a horrible man, a middling man, right? Depending on what level of patriarchy he's into and whether or not he cares about you. And even if he does care about you, the version of caring that the patriarchy allows men to have is so bare minimum, if that. Are you really winning? I don't know. Okay? So these are the things that when you look at how the patriarchy breaks down to individuals and why they make the choices that they make, how are they supposed to make different choices if they were raised and groomed in these concepts to the point of not knowing that they have A, other options, B, there's something better, C, they don't have to do that at all, D, it might be easier on your own. But the reality is that our American society makes it so difficult for anyone who is in a physical, emotional, or financial abusive relationship to leave their partner, that when people come online and start screaming about how you should just leave somebody, you need to button up your lip. It's very difficult to leave people. The resources are not in play, and nobody cares about your domestic abuse. We like to say we care about DV online, but in real life, the society shows that you should just shut up and go away because you picked wrong, which is not necessarily the case. Not necessarily the case, right? So lack of resources, lack of exit plans, lack of people believing you, and then you've got an ex who could be a narcissist, could not be a narcissist, but is just not good for you. You're in a bad place. Okay, so we'll end this episode of Mother Wounds because we're at 8 minutes already, almost 9. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for part 7.